We're going to start today lying down on the back, and in general, the most comfortable position when you're first down onto your back would be to let your feet come flat and keep your knees bent. You are certainly welcome, however, to allow the legs to stretch out. That's how you feel more comfortable and settled. If your feet are flat, they're a comfortable distance apart. You can rest your arms along sides of your body, or let the hands just rest on the body. Take a moment to wiggle in the shoulder blade area or in the hips. It's connecting yourself to the ground. If you haven't already, let the eyes close. And see if right here at the beginning of class, you can generate some softness around the face. And begin to bring your attention inside to breath. Feel the breath coming in through the nose. Feel the air as it leaves the nose. And as you're just getting yourself arranged here and attending to the breath, you might find yourself fidgety, or that the body feels energized. You might find the breath to be short or shallow, lacking a rhythm. Your job in this moment is simply to notice that. Notice any thoughts that pop up in the mind, any feelings you're aware of in the heart. And we'll check in throughout class and certainly at the end of class to see if there have been any changes, any effects to our practice because of our practice. If they're not already there, let the arms come down to the sides of your body. You can face the palms down or up, whatever's most comfortable for you. On your next inhale, take your right arm up over your head and straighten out your left leg. So you're extending through right arm and left foot at a diagonal. Next exhale, you'll bring your foot flat to the floor and lower your arm back down to the side. Next inhale, the left arm and the right foot will reach in opposite directions. You can flex the toes toward the face, extend through the heel, feel the side of the body lengthen. As you exhale, lower the arm and bring the foot flat to the mat. We'll do a few rounds like this. If you like, you can snow angel the arm along the floor if you have the space for it, and that will tell you how high to raise the arm. You want to keep the elbow and the back of the hand along the floor if at all possible. And make the movements as smooth and comfortable and timed with your breath. Let's do one more set. So finish the cycle you're on and do one more set, right and left. Really lengthening along the floor. Skimming the foot back to the surface of your mat. And when you're finished, both feet will be flat on the floor, arms down along your sides, no rush. You're finished, just pause here for a breath in. Next time you exhale, hug the navel down so it tips your pelvis slightly and hug the knees up into your chest. Place the hands on the kneecaps, face your fingers forward, and then wiggle out the toes and the ankles. Let the feet be relaxed and still. Next time you inhale, drop the knees forward, but hold on to the kneecaps, straightening the elbows. Exhale, bend the elbows, bring the knees into the chest as you draw the navel down toward the floor. And back and forth like this. Inhales to go forward, feeling the low back connect to the floor. Exhale, drawing the navel down to keep the low back connected to maintain that length. Good. 2 more times like this. Inhale, forward. Exhale, drawing in. Last one, breathing in. Breathing out. And next inhale, let the knees come about halfway forward. Drop your right foot to the floor. Keep a hold of your left knee in your right hand. Take your left arm out to the side, shoulder height. And as you exhale, let both knees slowly drop to the right. Now they may not touch the floor. You can certainly, if the knees offset is bothersome for the back, you can bring the knees right under each other. And feel free to turn your head to look left. We'll stay for a few breaths here. See if you can soften the face. Relax both shoulder blades down to the floor. And keep some attention on the breath. Take one more here. And then if you turned your head, inhale, bring the head back to center, pause. Next inhale, bring both knees back up to the chest, hold on. And then you're gonna take the right foot down to the mat, keep a hold of the left knee, slide the right leg straight, point toes up. And just like we did earlier, I want you to press the heel forward, press the right thigh down. Next time you exhale, the left will come down alongside the right leg, and then let the knee bend open and out to the side. And then arms down along your sides, just like before. As you inhale, snow angel the arms up over the head. Make sure the back of the elbow and the back of the hand still rest on the floor. I want to see a gap. Even if you have to take your arms down a little lower or more out to the side. You're gonna stay right here, reaching through the arms and fingers, reaching through that right heel. Just recognize this for a moment as tree pose on your back. Feel the floor behind your ankle, behind your back, low back and upper back, and definitely behind the arms. Letting the left knee drop out to the side. Take one more breath in here. As you exhale, let the arms come down. Bring the left foot flat to the mat. Both knees up into the chest again. And feel free to rock a bit side to side this time. So now you'll let the left foot come down to the mat. Take the right knee in the left hand, open the right arm out to the side. Next time you exhale, take that right knee across the body to the left into your twist. And you may turn your head to the right. Where can you soften? Feeling the breath coming in through the nose and leaving the nose. Feeling new sensations in the body. And of course, taking care of yourself, backing off if there's too much stretch, any pain. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Next time you inhale, bring your head back to center. Pause. Next, inhale both knees into center. Place the right foot down to the mat. Slide the left leg straight this time, extending through the heel, so getting as long as you can on that right side. With the right foot flat on the mat, let the right knee drop out to the side. And then snow angel your arms up over your head on your next inhale. Remember, we're looking for the backs of the arms to be connected to the floor. Let the right knee drop out to the side as much or little as it would like to, and bring your attention to the parts of your body you feel with the floor supporting you. The ankle, the low back, the upper back, all through the arms and the back head. Recognize this as your tree pose, often done as a balance. Take 1 more breath in here. And as you exhale, release the arms down to the sides. This time, straighten out the right leg. And keeping both feet a little bit apart, toes up, so feet flexed. Inhale, take both arms over your head. And notice the potential for the back to arch. Next time you exhale, I'd like you to draw your navel in and down. See if you can draw the low ribs down toward the mat. So you're flattening yourself into the floor even as the arms are over the head. Every time you inhale, go ahead, reach up through the arms and the fingers, press those heels forward. Let the arch come back into the back a little bit. And then as you exhale, hug everything down. So belly in, ribs, lower ribs, tuck them in. See if you can flatten yourself to the mat. 2 more times. Inhale, lengthening, reaching. Exhale, hugging in and drawing down. Good, last one, inhale. And exhale. Good, next inhale, lengthen yourself 1 more time. See if you can keep more of yourself connected to the floor. And as you exhale, take the arms back down to the sides. You can bring your feet flat to the mat. We're gonna flip over onto the belly. So take a moment to come onto your side and then onto your belly. You'll fold one hand on top of the other for crocodile pose. Let the forehead rest on your folded hands. Separate your feet so they're hip width distance apart. If you have glasses on, you might want to take them off and put them somewhere safe. And notice what you could soften in this pose. And then go ahead and stretch the arms out in front of you. Palms will face down. Inch the fingers forward so you get a nice stretch along the sides of the waist, maybe even into the armpits. And face the palms down, spread out the fingers. Feel the tops of your feet on the floor. You can keep your forehead on the mat. I'm lifted so you can hear me. Next time you inhale, you'll lift your right arm and your left leg just an inch off the mat. So your forehead will be down. Press down through the left hand and the top of the right. Next time, exhale, lower everything down. And we'll do that on the other side. So inhale, lift the left hand and the right foot, press down through the left foot and the right hand. So anything that's on the floor is pressing down. Anything that's lifted is reaching in opposite directions and extending you. Exhale, calm down. Okay, continue like this, switching sides. And the lift is very small. You're really thinking about staying low and long and using the press of the top of the foot, pointing the toes that are lifted and reaching. And next your sides are even, you might decide that you'll lift both at the same time, both hands, both feet staying low and long, having that feeling of still pressing the tops of both feet and the top and the bottoms of both hands into the floor. Exhale to look. We'll do 2 more like this, either alternating sides or both at the same time. When you're finished, come back to crocodile pose, folding the hands, resting the forehead, perhaps shimmying out the hips a little bit. And then bring your hands alongside your ribs, press your way up, and take your knees out wide to the edges of the mat. Bring the big toes to touch, slide your hips back toward your heels, and walk your hands forward. Really separate the hands out so that the little fingers are at the edges of your mat and extend through your fingers, press the palms down, and then let the forehead rest toward the floor. So your elbows are up off the mat. It's a little more active in your child's pose. And just like you did last movement, I want you to actively press your hands down and maybe even a little bit forward. See if you can lengthen the sides of your waist in your child's pose. Make sure you're breathing. And with the hands this wide, go ahead and walk the right hand over to meet the left. Maybe you stack it on top or it just comes nearby. So you're stretching more of the right side of the body. Let the forehead relax. Let your hips drop back more toward your heels. Take 2 more breaths here. And then open your hands wide once again, inch the fingers forward a little bit more, and this time go to the other side. So you can stack the hands, or you can bring them near each other, finding an appropriate amount of stretch in the side body. And staying present. Two more breaths here. And then open your arms back out wide. Walk the hands a little bit closer into your body. Bring the knees underneath your hips for cat and cow pose. So hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. If you want a little wrist stretch today, you can face your fingers back toward your knees. If that's a little intense, but you do want some wrist stretch, then the fingers out anywhere along that sideways, pointing toward the long edge of your mat. And we'll begin with some cat and cow here. So as you inhale, lift your chest, tilt your tailbone up. And as you exhale, you draw the navel in, kind of like you were flattening yourself along the floor. And then let your head release. We'll do a couple rounds here, or at your own pace. And again, try to make the movement smooth so you're not hopping from one pose to the next, but you're feeling the transitions everywhere along the way. Breath moves and flows. Let's do one last one here. And then if you have the fingers facing back, very, very mindful of how you come out of this so that your wrists are comfortable. We'll walk the hands back to the knees and come to stand up on the knees. I like to be in the center of my mat for this one. We're going to do gate pose. So the hands will start on the hips. We'll take the right foot out to the side and set your heel so that it's in line with your front knee. And notice if you have a tendency to let the left hip drop out to the side, we want to keep underneath the body. Now, you might decide that you like to do the gate pose with the toes up or the toes down. It's totally up to you. Just play with it a little bit. When the toes are up, we generally feel a little more sensation in the back of the leg. Toes down might give you a little firmer base to grip on, right? So hands starting at the waist, chest lifted. As you inhale, you'll take both arms out to the sides with the palms up, just shoulder height. As you exhale, make it tip yourself to the side. Let the right hand come down, the left hand go up. And then inhale, back up. And see if you can get taller at the center. Exhale, keep the length that you got from that lift as you tip over. Do a couple more. Just in and out of the pose. You might notice a stretch along the left side of the body. Really firm through that right foot or through the right heel. Next time you exhale and come into the gate pose, let's stay. Think about pulling the arms apart. So reaching in opposite directions, keeping that left hip underneath you, and then bring your attention to the right underside of the body and see if you can lengthen that up a little bit. Are you still breathing? Good. Next inhale, come up, arms out to the side. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips. And then you'll toe heel the feet to the front for a lunge. So keep a little separation, a little space between the legs. Walk the right toes forward and then lean this forward slightly. So you start to feel a little sensation along the back side of the front side of the back leg. Press all the toes of the front foot down and then inhale, take the left arm up. Good. We did want you to stand up through the fingers, see if you can lengthen the side even more. And with your right hand, you might even press down in that hip crease to elongate the right side of your waist. Feel the breath. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, bring the arm down, tilt the torso forward. Bring the hands to the floor. Take a full breath in here. Get a little longer, so pull both sides of the wing. And then exhale, slide the hips back. Walk your hands back and see how straight you can keep your hips. Probably feel pulled out one side. All right, so aiming the chest toward the front knee is a good way to be. You'll probably feel a little more weight on one hand. Some stretch in the back of the leg. Keep the chest lifted. Try not to round the upper back. Breathing. Take one more inhale. One more exhale. And then inhale, come forward. Bring the hands to the inside of that front foot and bring the knee back underneath you for another set of cat and cow. And if you like the stretch of the wrist, you can certainly do it again. Otherwise, you can keep the fingers forward this time. Just a few rounds moving back and forth to feel the right and left sides of your body. And just become aware of any differences. asymmetries, and to bring everything back to the center. We'll take one more here. And then walk the hands back to the knees again. Return to standing on the knees, hands on the hips. This time the left foot will come out to the side, positioning the heel in line with the knee. Remember, your toes can stay down or you can tip your toes up. We're trying not to sag into that hip. We're bringing it underneath us. Inhale, take the arms up high. And then exhale, begin your tipping to the side. And work in and out of the pose a couple times. Good, and then when you're ready, you'll exhale and stay in the pose. Think about pulling the arms away from one another. So you're lengthening up through the right side body, press down through the shin of the back leg, press all the toes of the left foot down if the foot is down, or press through that heel. And then next inhale, so you could bring some attention to the underside of the body and pick it up. So at the same time that you're leaning over, you're also lengthening the underside. It's kind of challenging. Breathe. And then inhale to come up. Exhale, let the arms flow back down to the hips. Toe heel the left foot to the front of the space. Keeping a little bit of separation between the legs. And then taking the hips forward slightly. Remember, let the tail relax down toward the heel so your torso is still upright. You're not tipping forward. And then let the right arm reach up over the head. Good, and here you might feel that the left side is a little saggy, so if you stick your thumb in the hip crease, roll it down and lengthen up through that other side. Try to keep the shoulder relaxed. There's a lot going on here, I know. Breathing. Your balance. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, let the hand come down. You'll tip forward slightly. And then keep the chest lifted, bring the hands to the floor. You can also use blocks here. And as you exhale, you'll slide the hips back and find a place where you can get a little bit comfortable. My front toes are up. You can also relax the foot. Depends on how much sensation you're feeling in the back of the leg. Keep the chest lifted. Try not to round forward. And keep breathing. Take one more inhale, one more exhale, and then inhale, coming back into your lunge, hands to the inside of the front foot this time. Tuck the back toes under to lift the knee, and then step the back foot forward so you end up in a forward fold. Forward fold. And bend the knees a lot here. So your goal is to bring the belly onto the thighs and connect them, right? So you might need to bend the knees quite a bit to do that. The hands can rest on the floor or the ankles, or you can also bring the arms up to the thighs. And so you're probably more in a squat than a forward fold. If you can keep your belly on your thighs, then you can start to straighten the legs a little bit. But more importantly, to keep that connection and then let the head go. Shake out the shoulders. The arms feel heavy. You can shake your head yes and no. And then let the head be still. Next, inhale, bring the hands to the thighs and lift up halfway. Then we're going to pull the shoulders down away from the ears.
Press the hands into the thighs, like you can actually press your legs back, hug your belly up away from the mat, but keep a little bit of these, which is a little tricky when you're pressing the thighs back. I want you to think about creating length through the sides of your waist here. So shoulders down away from the ears, still a little bend, using the arms, pulling yourself long, and then exhale, let it go. We'll do that again. So inhale, come up halfway, active here through the belly, using the arms, using the legs, and then exhale, relax. So we'll do one more. Inhale, halfway, and exhale, relax. And then inhale, come up through that halfway lift. Press into the feet more firmly to come all the way up to standing. Good. And standing in our mountain pose. So feet hip width distance apart, arms at the sides. You can rock forward into the feet a little bit and rock back. Let the arms relax. Good, and when you find the balance point on your arms feel relaxed, inhale, float the palms and the arms up over the head. As you exhale, bring the palms together, bend the knees, relax the tailbone, and sit down into a little chair pose. And then inhale, let the arms release, stand up, arms rise up overhead. And then exhale, bend the knees, bring the palms together, and sit. Maybe you sit a little lower, keeping the chest up though, keeping the breath as long and smooth as you can make it. If you want to work some balance today, the next time you inhale, you'll stand up and lift the heels as the arms rise up over the head. And as you exhale, the palms come together, heels touch down, and then you land into that squat, perhaps taking a little more weight back into the heels. Adjusting as you stand up, and the heel raise optional. And it can be small. You don't have to lift high to get the benefit of the balance. Let's do one more here. Good, and then coming back to the mountain pose. Standing tall and relaxed. Good, so hands on the hips. We're now going to take our tree balance. So calling back to mind the memory of doing that pose on the floor. I want you to imagine as though the floor was still behind you as we're standing here. And it can be fun even to do tree pose at a wall if you have a wall that's free. We're just going to imagine that the floor is still behind us, so we have a frame. And you'll start by shifting your weight into the right foot. Remember not to let that hip kick out. You want to keep it underneath you. Keep a little bend to the knee. And keep both sides of the waist lengthening and the shoulders down. Start to lift the left heel. And remember the floor. Just take the foot out to the side. Slide the sole of the foot against the ankle to start. This might be your resulting position because now we are working on balance, right? If you had your foot a little higher when you were on the floor, you can bring it to the calf or you can bring it above the knee. Please don't be directly on the knee. And if the foot is lifted, press the sole of the foot into the calf and resist that with the calf so that there's a tight connection there. Same thing if the foot is higher up on the inner thigh. And then let the arms relax down to your sides. Remember the floor. As you inhale, snuggle the arms up. Where did you stop when the arms were on the floor? Where did they start to peel up off the floor? Where did the elbows lift? Where did the palms or the backs of the hands come up off the floor? Odds are your arms were not like this, right? So where were they? Can you recreate that same lift in the chest? And then every time you exhale, can you draw the navel in and hug those lower ribs in like you did lying on the floor? Oh, and you're breathing as well, right? Inhale. And next exhale, snow angel the arms down. Hands to the hips. Release the foot. Shake out the standing leg. Do whatever you need to do to let that go. All right, we'll go to the other side. So I'm gonna pose first, and you can rock forward and back a little bit. Again, finding that balance point in the standing foot. Have a little bend to the left knee this time. Shift the weight, keep the bend, watch the hip. Draw the glute in underneath your body. Get tall through both sides of the waist. Relax your shoulders. And then start to lift the heel. Build this slowly. This is what allows you to keep the balance. Knee out to the side. Toes stay down for just a moment. Just get settled. And then you can decide to bring the foot a little higher if it's appropriate. If the foot is higher, it is not on the knee. It is clearly above or below. And you have that pressing and resisting. When you're stable, arms relax. Let the chest lift. You might even draw the shoulder blades together along the back a little bit. Remember the floor as you inhale, snow angeling the arms up. Where do they stop? Good. Can you extend through the bottom heel, lift up through the fingers any amount more on your inhale. And as you exhale, you want to nose ribs together, pull the navel in so that you're not overarching the back. Take 2 more breaths. And on an exhale, bring the arms back down. Hands to the hips, set the foot down, and shake out the standing leg. Good. From here, inhale, sweep the arms forward and up. And once again, remember yourself on the floor. So when you reach the arms up, you can lift them a little higher this time, and you press the feet down with a little bend to the knees. Notice any arching in the back, right? And as you exhale, hug the navel in, pull the low ribs in. The arms might come forward a little bit. But inhale, press down, reach up. Exhale, draw in. Good, take 1 more like this. And then next time you exhale, let the arms come down, bend the knees, and come into your forward fold. Your relaxed forward fold. And once again, wiggle out the shoulders and shake out the head. And then come down onto your hands and knees. Onto your hands and knees. You'll come to stand up on the knees now. Hands behind the back, face the palms away from you. So the hands are just kind of on the low back. You're relaxing the tailbone down toward the heels, lifting the chest. Next, inhale, sweep the arms out to the side and up over the head, being conscious of the position. As you exhale, you're going to tighten the low abdomen, bring the hands behind the back, and let the forehead come to the floor. And then inhale, lift your chin, your chest, holding the navel in, sweep the arms out, reach up. You can bring the gaze up if you, and then exhale and bow forward. Take your time. Make it take just as long to come up as it does to come down. Good. 1 more time like this. Good. And then bring the hands back to the mat. We're going to flip over onto the back. Feet flat, knees bent. Same position as we started. Good, so arms down along the sides of the body. Feet a comfortable distance from your bottom. Take a moment to set the head right in the center and to feel both shoulder blades. I'm going to take a breath in here. And the next time you exhale, I want you to contract the low abdomen. Press the low back gently down into the floor.
And then inhale and release that. So a little tilt of the pelvis here. Every exhale, you'll draw the navel down, pressing the low back into the bar. Good, last time like this, inhale, release. And exhale, squeeze. Good, now maybe, we're gonna do that a couple more times. Maybe this next set, as you draw the navel and press the low back into the mat, you feel you can hover both feet. And as you inhale, you can set both feet down and relax the squeeze. Now, if you're lifting the feet, it's a very low lift. It's almost like your toes can stay down. And the feeling of weightlessness is coming from that squeeze, from that press. The feet just want to rise up off the mat. Good, one more like this. You can lift or you can simply squeeze and try to make the feet feel a bit weightless. Good, and then relax. So now bring the right knee up into the chest. And if the ankle is a little bit sore from the balance, you can rotate the ankle again. And then take that right ankle, cross it over the left thigh, let the right knee drop out to the side for figure four. If there's any tightness on the hip, it can be nice to flex the right foot. That just helps to protect the knee, keep some of the tightness in the hip from traveling down and being painful on the knee. And we're also not looking to press the knee out to any particular point. We're just feeling where it lands, trying to soften. You might even rock a bit side to side. And from here you have two options. You can draw your navel down and then lift that bottom foot 1 inch up off the mat, just like we did earlier. If you can keep the belly in, low flat, you can bring the leg up a little higher and maybe hold on. But you must keep everything connected so that you don't just step out to the side. Option 2 is to bring the right knee to the chest, but cross fully the thighs. So above the knees is where you're crossing. Slightly dip stretch, you'll feel this usually in the left glute area. And in this case, you can hug the knees into the chest. So your choice. You can also just stay in that relaxed figure four. That's more of what you need today. Wherever you are, you're breathing, you're feeling, and perhaps you're softening some part of the body. We'll take 2 more breaths here. When you're finished with your 2, you'll bring both feet back down to the mat, unraveling the legs, perhaps taking a swish of the knees from side to side. And we'll bring the left knee up into the chest, once again rotating ankle, spreading out the toes. And then as you're ready, the left foot comes across to the right thigh, the knee drops open to the side, and we flex the left foot for extra protection of that left knee. And let it be nice and easy here to start. No special place to be. And then your option on this side, same as the first side, right? Drawing the navel down, pressing the low back into the floor, and then hovering the foot. Keeping all that connected as you bring that left knee up closer to your chest, or right knee rather up closer to your chest. Or you can completely cross and hug both knees in. This time feeling along the outer glute area there. And breathing. And softening. And feeling. So even when we're working, even when certain muscles have to be contracted, there are usually others that end up gripping and holding on. So in this position, it might be your shoulders. Can you relax the shoulders? There's always somewhere to soften, even while other places are working. Go ahead and unravel the legs. Let the feet come back down to the mat. So your feet flat, knees bent. Time your heels close enough to your seat, you can bring some weight to them for bridge pose. Let the arms come down to your sides. Next time you inhale, press into your feet, squeeze your glutes, and lift your hips. Good. And then release. And slow as you roll down each of the vertebrae on the back. Touching the tailbone down at the very last minute, you might feel your pelvis tilt. And then tilting your pelvis, drawing the navel down, pressing into the feet, lifting the hips. The shins will press forward. Light squeeze on the glutes this time. Perhaps lifting your chest a little more toward your chin to get a fuller range of the back bend. And then exhale. And letting yourself come down. We'll do a couple more of these, nice and slow. If you like, you can add some arms. So snow angeling the arms out to the sides and up over the head as the hips go up. And as you exhale, you can let them come back down. Timing it so that arms, the hands, the hip all land at the same time. Let's do two more. There's no rush. When you're finished, take whatever movements that feel appropriate. You might have the knees back up into the chest, or straighten out the legs, or take a swish of the knees from side to side. And see if you can let your body drive the movements and the shapes. So there's no need for this to look like any yoga pose. Just however moving and stretching your body would feel good right now, right before we land in our Shavasana relaxation. If you're already in the mood, you feel like you can settle, then you'll stretch out the legs. I'll let the arms be at the sides of the body. Here you can let the feet flap open and the palms face up. So you can wiggle your shoulder blades equally underneath your back. You can move your head a little bit from side to side. Make sure you're on the center point of the back of your head and let the full weight of your skull rest on the floor. And if you haven't settled down yet, start to make your way to stillness. Can you let the shoulder blades soften down toward the floor? Can you let your hips melt any amount more? Can you release tension in the wrists and the fingers? Any tension in the ankles or in the toes. And when you feel you have arrived in stillness and softness, bring your focus to the breath. As you breathe in, simply say to yourself, in. As you breathe out, simply say to yourself, out. And if your mind wanders, just bring it back. Nothing else to do but in and out. Just the breath. Take 3 more breaths with your full attention. And then allow the breath to settle in its natural way. Bring your thoughts and your awareness back to your body, feeling the weight of the body. And beginning to bring some small, gentle movements into fingers and toes. And allowing those movements to stay mindful but grow into movements of arms or legs. You can take a full body stretch with arms overhead, or alternately bring knees to chest. In your own time, make your way onto one side of your body. And pause there on your side with your knees and ankles stacked, your head perhaps supported by your arm or your hands. And take a moment and one breath in and out to really appreciate yourself for your practice today. And then using your hands to press your way up from your side to a way of sitting that feels comfortable, where your spine can be straight, where you can relax anything you don't be holding on to. We'll inhale, take the arms open, palms up, let the chest lift. Let the chin lift to raise the gaze. Take a full breath in. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Don't lose that lift of the chest, but bow the head. Good. Inhaling here. And letting the breath go. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.